Welcome everybody to the Berlin Select Board regular meeting, special meeting, January 20th. And to my left, we have Muriel Morse, Flo Smith. To my right, Carla DeWeasel and Vince Conti. I'm Joe Staub. Is there any additions or changes to the agenda?
Yes, there is. The approval of license permits and vouchers can be removed. There aren't any this evening for that.
Is there anything else? None? All right, public comment. Is there anyone from the public as a comment? Seeing none, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Budget review and
Okay, so, and you have your updated packages? Yes.
Yes.
we're there. Yeah, this everybody has some.
Already a copy of this. Oh, and this was quick. Double-sided. Yeah, they were open, it's got founders listed, I didn't know it. It's not here. About it, keep it up on
It's all right, release it.
it. Oh, perfect. Better pick a private or release. Wow.
So what's your pleasure on how we want to go about doing this, Carla?
Well, I think. Okay, are we gonna talk about police?
No place and no fire at night. We really need to just. The wages.
Wages.
One that was carried over in capital.
So we didn't finish the capital one? We did. Well, we didn't make any decisions about. Ultimately, we worked on it.
Thank you.
I don't think it's appropriate. Operator area, you think, Mary? I think it's possible.
Especially if it's double-sided.
You're getting hot and cold and hot and cold. It's actually a little warmer in here tonight. I think we're getting control
Wages.
whatever.
Yep, start with the administration, the
Wages of the administration.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have to get some notes on that in here.
I'm gonna pull my calculator out.
Oh. Move.
So last night we were talking about the clerk and how that is currently a salary position. And it will be going to an hourly position. Right?
Theoretically.
And hours of the office that we would want to have opened and for business all comes into play, right?
Yes. I think there's two questions here. One is how much are we gonna budget? And two is what are we gonna do with that money after we budget it? And I think that's a question that shouldn't be talked about. That's a personnel issue.
Okay,
So I think we decided we're gonna level fund it. And then deal with that. And then, sort of work that out with the potential candidates, or do we think it needs to be increased? So I think that's the question. Regardless of because we have to hire somebody potentially, whether that be the income, you know, the current town clerk or somebody else, we have to. What is the fair salary for that position? If that person then doesn't work full-time, that's a different conversation, or doesn't work 40 hours. That's a different conversation, but I think what we really should be looking at is what should the salary be for that position?
Correct. Right now, what is it, like 45 an hour?
Yeah.
Well, if you base it on 20, she's talking about if you divide by 20 an hour.
29,
I guess that
27,
was,
29.
yeah, I guess that was based on 29. So you'd have to figure it out for 40.
And do we know, you did give us information on comparison, right, to other
Yeah, I'm gonna print this out because
towns?
Well, how fair is that though? Because some of the town clerks might have been there for 30 years already.
That's
Yeah.
the current state of the world right now. I deal with that every time I try to hire somebody and can't hire them because we can't pay them enough, and it affects somebody that's been working now.
Right.
It's just a reality that we have to sometimes live with. Or else we can't hire anybody.
Well, who's always calling me? Very good sense of humor. Well, he did, calling me, that's what all of them. There you go. You showed us, and we did. That's good. Thank you. Now, what do you think? I can leave again.
Yeah, I was actually gonna suggest that's a jump. $40, but that's a jump.
it's a big jump.
It's a big jump. I'm not doing a big jump. But you notice it says several of them are also treasurers, so they're going 2 jobs.
Yeah, so again, the numbers that you see on there that are under the average column
Yeah,
come from a review of the League of Cities and Towns survey study where they look at all the wages.
Yeah,
and we're looking at all of them. We didn't pick comparable towns. Did we look at all of them?
We looked at all of them, but again, that's a really wide range.
It is.
Right? So then we narrow it down to, we look at some towns that are comparable in size, and then some that are a little larger that are comparable in infrastructure,
I was gonna
right?
say.
Like what we have.
Somebody
So,
might not have a full-time clerk or assistant.
well, we only considered like
Right.
positions from that, whether town size was only full-time. We didn't consider the mixed, because some are treasurers as well.
Right.
They do a dual role. So we tried to be as selective as we can to get a broader average that is more representative of what we have.
So this says
A
suggest.
lot of fun, I can tell you that.
What's this suggest? That's what you suggest?
That's for the 3%.
Yeah, that's just a proposal. The suggest column is just a proposal.
I like it. I think that's good.
If we were to increase it to $35, it comes to 72. 72.8, 72,800.
That was current hours.
72,800. That's at full time, 40 hours a week.
Right, what's not on the 31 that he's got?
Well, I mean, we're talking about trying to become more competitive wage wise, and that's why I'm just throwing out 35. Doesn't have to be 35.
His other concern was the treasurer. Should we be making more than the
You've
treasurer?
gotta be, yeah, you gotta keep that in consideration that the treasurer is technically a more difficult, challenging position than town clerk.
You need more, you need
So
more skills.
Why is the average less, a lot less for the treasurer than for the town clerk?
Apparently that's where they are.
I'm not. I can-
According to VLCT, the average for treasurers is 31 and the average for town clerks is 39.
Town clerks do tend to be there a lot longer than.
Yeah, and you're right, that, I'm just gonna say that in the league, look, if you look at the years of service for lots of the clerks, they've been there a lot longer than many of the treasurers that were used in calculating the average. So that probably does have something to do with it as well, for sure.
My thoughts were.
So,
That's a very good point
so again, I think the point to try to make is you gotta balance the two, right? Years of service and position all have an impact on the wages in those two positions
Right.
across the state, so.
I'm still gonna suggest you stick with the 31. How about you?
I like the aspect of the 3% across the board, in terms of fairness for all, as opposed to looking at them individually per se, but that's just my own opinion. And I do think that when we're looking at the average, just like we just talked about, that is inclusive of tenure, which is so true in any position. People tend to be paid more over time for their years of service and their longevity, et cetera.
And so they should.
Question, Vince? Sorry, I'm just scrolling down through all the positions.
Jumping ahead, again,
Well, and I'm just going off of the 3% across the board. Are we looking to put Craig, whose salary, to an hourly rate? And is that hourly rate what I see on the
my
left?
answer to that is when we get to that level on the chart,
Okay,
that will be a topic of discussion as well, because of
I will.
the law that we've, been made aware of. Again, just to reiterate what we've been made aware of, if you don't have if you're in a leadership, 2 supervisory role, if you don't have 2 employees or more, you are, again, according to the statute or law, should be hourly and not salary. Salary.
Hourly?
We can all be sour.
It's a long day. Look at the numbers.
So I just want to respond to we're making assumptions about the data that we don't have the basis of. We don't know, right? If we're looking at this information, I'm not comfortable making decisions based on assuming the data's wrong, or the data is skewed, or the data is, so either we need to get better data.
I can bring the book out. You can look at it.
Not right now.
I don't think that's necessary.
But I'm just making a point. We really need to we shouldn't be operating by making assumptions about, well, that's probably because they're there longer. We should really know the underlying data.
And I see your point, but that isn't available to us, so I do still stand firm in my belief that a 3% across the board would be fair and equitable for staff overall.
What did they get last year? We recall.
3% stands in my mind for
Yeah.
last year. I could be wrong.
I think it was 3%
I do believe so.
last year as well.
Well, there was others that got more, but I think the majority was 3%.
There was, I think there were, I don't remember what I looked at totally, but there were some other adjustments made last year.
I mean, in an effort to make us more competitive, which
Right,
I
right.
totally agree with, but I just am pointing out that we didn't do that for the office staff, and do we want to do that for the office staff? And now we have, one's really new,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I guess-
The thing, I kind of mentioned it last night, that the assistant town administrators wages is higher than the town administrators.
Longevity,
And
he's been here a long time.
there's reasons for that, but same time, look at the job functions. It's not good policy to have your assistant make more money than you do.
I have staff that make more than I do.
You really?
Yep.
Doesn't mean it's good.
It
It
works.
happens, but it doesn't mean it's good.
Just saying it does happen because of circumstances and, you know, that's just the reality. But I also think it's not something that we need to address because that position he's going to retire. So when we rehire, we won't be hiring at that rate.
I'm more worried about the employment of the town administrator since we just brought him back on, but we didn't have a large qualified candidate pool. I'm not saying anything against the current guy.
That's okay, I've been told worse, no worries. I don't take it personal, Tori, it's okay.
But that's happening everywhere. I mean, even if you were a truck driver or the state, I mean, everybody's having a hard time finding
Right,
people.
right.
It's not just here. You know, even stores, you know, it's like the state, everybody's struggling to find people.
They are, yeah.
If you get more to stay home, why go to work, right?
Well, I think we also delayed the process to the point where some of the candidates that we did have were no longer in consideration. So I think there were some candidates.
Possible.
So, I mean, it's hard to say I'm just gonna say, you're right, I've had a hard time hiring, but recently I put out a posting and got more qualified applicants than I've ever gotten for any other posting. It's hit or miss, it just depends on the timing.
The hospital, nurses, you just can't find people.
But I mean, I think the point is that when hiring, we have to be realistic. That's the time when you try to look at equity, is when you're hiring a new candidate. And I think that that will be, the time to adjust that salary. And that's my opinion. I'm one person.
I mean, if the job description is gonna change, yes.
Well, even if the job description doesn't change, I
But
think.
don't you think it's going to? Is that what you thought?
Well,
That particular one.
we don't know, but possibly. I mean, I said we should cut that back, and you said no because there's a possibility that
Cut what back?
that amount in that line item.
I didn't say that. That was a board decision when,
No, I said we should cut it back for the next budget,
for the next budget.
and you said we maybe shouldn't because.
Well, we need to see the staffing survey, right, and results. That's what we're talking about.
No,
What you just said was what we were talking about at that time.
No, but last night when we were talking about cutting that back, you said that he was, the plans weren't finalized, so we shouldn't cut it back. So I think it's reasonable to cut it back, but if others don't, then that's.
Oh, no, I agree, trust me. I think you're right. Totally agree.
I guess the only thing I would say, if we don't have a signed document saying that he's gonna be leaving at such time, we expect him to stay longer. Right?
Well, he does have one.
We have an email saying that I think I am going to.
Between June and August.
Yeah, I don't think it says
Possibly.
bank, I think it says he does.
Wow.
He's planning.
Right.
He's planning on it.
He is, for sure.
So what's the
What
board's?
are you
what's the
doing over
board's-
there, Joe? What are you figuring out?
I see what you're saying. He
I'm just
stays.
giving them all 4%, see what it looks like. I mean, if you turn it around, you're looking to, I guess, show them appreciation or pay for what they believe or what you believe they should be at or whatever that is. I think you're looking at something greater than 3%. Well, the road crew currently, when we go back and maybe talk about that, is the majority of them are getting 4%. So what does the 4% look like? Is what I'm thinking.
Well, it doesn't mean we're giving them 4%.
I know.
Because that says it. I mean, don't forget the people that are paying these people aren't getting 3% and they're not getting 4%.
Oh, I get that. I work for the government, I get fuzzy gloves, I don't get an increase like
People that are
everybody
paying
else.
these taxes aren't getting that.
No, but they get upset when we don't have plowed roads or good roads, and
Yeah.
it's hard to get people to work on that crew. We finally found somebody, but it took,
Almost 12 months.
because it was so not competitive in wages.
Well, again, I don't think it's just here. I mean, anybody that's a truck driver or trucking business, they have a hard time finding somebody.
What is the current wage being paid to the town guys, I guess? Just curious. I'm kind of, you know, already.
It ranges from let's see, newest individual is around 2850,
2850.
and then the superintendent are up to 35. Current.
So at 2850 is qualified to hold a shovel, but not qualified to drive a truck.
Oh, he's driving truck at that, you know.
Yeah. He's got a route, plow route,
At 28 an hour.
2850.
2850. I know.
That's why I see you're the.
And so
I'm in these trades, so, and I have employees. They're paid much greater than that, and they work a normal shift.
That's why we struggled for a year to get
Yeah.
somebody.
I can see.
I mean, and the benefit is there's a nice retirement plan, there's, there are some benefits that they get that you might not get in a business.
Yeah, I may not offer those.
But it's still, in my pocket now versus later, younger people are gonna think
You're
about
20
now.
something years old and you're offered 2850 or 35. You're not looking at insurance plans. You're looking at money going in your pocket.
You want the biggest paycheck at the end of the.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. Gotcha, okay.
So yeah, that's the current wages right now.
28 to 35.
2850 to 35.
So 35, I'm guessing that's your wage.
okay,
Why some go up to 41?
44 as an average.
Superintendents in VLCT average came out from the handful of towns that I looked at around $44 for the average. But the range, the overall range, not the overall, but the range of the group was 35 to 53. For
so we're at the very
superintendents.
low end of the range.
Again, just to be, I'll give you the range so everybody can hear it, right? The superintendent was 35 to 53. Regular crew member was 20 to 41. And an equipment operator was 21 on the low end and 40 on the higher end. And those are all town employees across the state.
But what comes with that package?
But it varies. Every town, not every town, but many towns have obviously all different packages of different insurances and what the coverage is.
But I think they all offer.
Beamer's across the board.
Yeah.
But many have the same retirement.
Yeah, many of them are all.
It's different when it is contributed from the municipality. Some do 30%, some
Yeah.
do more, some do less.
Yeah.
Is that years of service or age or what's it based on?
Yeah, well, again, that's all over the place in there, right, with the towns. There's some people that have been in the seats for, 15 years, 20 years, and then there's some that are, 90 years.
No, we're not talking about retirement.
Yeah.
You get signed on and I'm gonna get $28 an hour or whatever the price was. What am I looking forward to for retirement? If I stay with this company, if I stay with this town for 25 years, do I get my retirement? Do I get it at 20 years?
Oh,
Or do I have to
saying
stay
30.
on until-
What's he
It's
vested?
30 years.
Is it 30 or a certain age, I'm assuming?
No, I think it's,
But when are you vested, not when you retire?
you're vested as 5.
Oh.
5 years you're vested.
You get what you
Right.
put into it, but to make it mature, it's a full 30 in the plan that we're in. If we chose to go to
It's like the
the
state.
Yeah.
D, is it D, because we're in C. And it went down to 25, I think it was, but I think Craig looked into that.
Yeah, there's different plans within Beamers as well.
Besides the 5 years.
Are any of the benefits, optional to the employee?
Health insurance.
health insurance, you can get the town health insurance, which is 100% paid for.
The basic plan is completely covered by the town, and then there's one plan above that you pay a small portion, but the town pays the brunt of it as well.
If you,
But
For health.
your deductibles are higher than what they would normally be on a different.
On the plan.
On a different plan,
Families included in that too?
Yeah, there's family plans.
your deductibles are higher.
Right.
Yeah.
and if you don't want the town insurance, there is a buyback. Like for instance, if the spouse carries insurance, and
Right, I think it's 200, I think it's $200.
$200.
The buyback is, so if you don't elect to take the insurance, like you said, if your spouse, you covered under your spouse or you can get an additional $200.
I pay for it,
Yeah.
right?
Per month.
Well, no.
Again, how we compare to other towns, and that we're similar to, is that?
I think for health insurance, I think we're better.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the
And I
one that,
think our plan-
most of them are all in Beamers, as Tim said, so that's pretty standard. It's just which individual package you choose, the B, C, or D, that you have available. But from a health insurance perspective, I think the town here has a better plan. I'm sure from the surrounding towns, because what we hear when we interview people with our health insurance is much better.
But it's because of
Berry
the
Towns is,
contract, right?
Berry Towns
Yes.
is good.
Yeah,
So it's because
So-
the contract we
gonna
have,
say.
the insurance that we have for the police contract covers everybody, it's Teamsters contract, so that's why it's a different plan than you get from PLPT.
If we weren't affiliated with the police department,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be free.
We were on the state exchange for a very short period of time, and it was a very poor, I don't remember which plan it was, but we got grievances all over the place, so that's why we were able to switch over to the Teamsters, and even Senator Bill Doyle at the time we did that. And we made a great move.
Yeah, very.
You're a young buck, with no kids, when you're 25, you want money, you don't care about insurance, but if you're a 30-year-old with 4 kids coming in at $30 an hour and you're a medical.
Yeah,
paid for,
it's
and you got a good insurance plan, you're more likely to at least consider it and take a second look.
Finding the right person that wants those benefits, but.
Yeah, and like on that aspect of it, like with hiring people, we were on the low end, and I had a lot of people asking what the pay was, and Williamstown was paying more. Berrytown starting guys at $31 an hour for not even driving CDL trucks. Berry City's paying more.
So,
We were on the low end of the scale, and that's where the hiccup was coming.
yeah,
So I'm gonna say something that's not popular, but I'm gonna do it anyway, from another perspective to consider, right? We talk a lot about, nobody wants the town jobs anymore, especially on the highway. Why? Because they sit in a truck and they go too fast past a mailbox and they knock it over. The guy's out in the street the next day, or the wife is out in the street screaming at the truck driver, yelling at him, or somebody's riding a horse when they're grading and gets mad at the grader because he's grading the road, and the next day they're calling because they got potholes in their road. They're calling the town garage and chewing them out, when they can go sit in a dump truck, make a little more cash, maybe not have the benefits, and nobody says a word to them all day long, right? These guys know that. They all talk to each other, and that has an impact, whether people want to believe it or not. But that has an impact on the morale, and I don't want to do that. I don't want people screaming at me all day long, or calling me up and chewing me out because I startled their horse when I was grading the road. I mean, it's one of those thankless jobs. Every decision you make is going to be wrong with somebody, right?
Only hour.
The office isn't as bad, but again, you get irate people coming in occasionally, but it's not quite as bad as it is for the guys that are out there, cutting the brush, cutting the trees out of the road, and
Then the winter hours.
yeah.
yeah, it's thankless in the winter.
This winter.
It's a thankless job in the winter to be quite blunt. So those are all things that impact it as well.
Okay, back to business. Okay, so is this what's in the budget? This stuff?
Yes,
These were the-
that's what's in the budget if we have to adjust it.
What'd you come up with, Joe, for the difference in cost for the 4%?
Give me the other chart. It's got 3, 4.
It's, I mean, it's not a great difference from just looking at some of the office and staff. You know, you're talking 30 cents on the hour, you know, by the hour. Let me just finish this one last. I think at some point we're gonna be looking for that half position, are we not? The public works and road crew. I mean, just because we didn't have any applicants at some time, I do know Craig is really needing that extra hand, even if it's only a half position. Is this correct?
At some point,
Yes.
at some point, for sure, it's gonna come.
So I think there's a couple of positions, one in here, one out there, so I think that's obviously something that we need, but I don't think we're dealing with it this time. It seems like we've
No.
decided we're just not gonna. We're gonna wait till next year.
Right. So, and not talking about the superintendent position right now. I would say you give the office staff 4%, give 5% to the road crew, and then we'll figure something out for the superintendent. Now, that's a difference of, you know, nearly 30 cents or something like that, almost. Most of those positions. And it still is, you know, maybe a questionable wage for someone to leave one position for another. You know, working construction where you can go home at 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock at night and go home, whereas some of these guys are going to be staying out till 10, 11 o'clock and still have to change light bulbs in the truck so that it's ready for the next day. I don't know. I would increase it.
Your figures, Joe, are 30 cents an hour increase. Is that accurate or did I miss? Did I not?
I'm going to say,
No, I think Joe's proposing, what I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, is he's proposing their base wage now plus 5%.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, it was like, he's saying the 30 cents was just going from 4% to 5%. But
You're right. Yes.
So what does that equate to? Say the average guy right now is 30 outside of Tim's position. What is that actual increase?
Well, for 3 people, it's about this 80 hours. That's the straight time.
Yes.
So, you
So
know,
it's $1.40 jump for one of the guys on the crew.
So $30 an hour, 5% puts you up at $31.50 an hour.
Yeah.
That's
not significant.
It's really not. You know, and I do know the state has an incentive program for, you know, paying out, I'm gonna say quarterly as far as whatever they want to consider the winter months as an incentive to not call out or always be available or whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know, I see that as something, not this budget, but something that could be considered as well. You know, when you start talking about what draws people here, well, it's the benefits.
Yeah.
Maybe not the hourly rate, but you know what, come wintertime when I love plowing snow, cranking tunes, I'm also gonna get a bonus at the 4-week mark or whatever that is.
Yeah.
A little extra.
Total incentive.
Yeah. You know, I think that could add to the draw. You're not talking about this budget, but I'm gonna say next year. next year, I think it should be really considered.
What would you do if you left them at 3%, the folks in the office, and put the road crew at 6%, and what would the starting wage be at 6%? So that Tim is able to get people to come in the door, we keep our roads up to where they need to be, and we're not spending more money because he's short-handed and can't get.
31.8, yeah,
Done.
the average. The average.
Where does that compare at 6% to our local towns?
Yeah, so take the average using your method before, $30 an hour, we'll put them at 31.80. So that is in the mid-range of the crew and equipment operator range. It ranges from 20 to 41. It puts them about mid-range of the average. Again, on the VLCT numbers. I think to be.
So a $1.50 increase for 3 people is about $10,000 for the year.
Straight guy,
Straight time, doesn't include overtime.
didn't include
So
overtime.
that's what, 3 people, $1.80, $2 an hour times 2,080 hours.
So a $1.80 increase is $37.50.
That was with 6%. Or is that five? Or
Yeah, the average, it was 6%.
6%.
Is $1.80 times 2,080 hours for the year for an individual.
I mean, that's just, that's straight time, doesn't include, it impacts retirement, it impacts overtime, it impacts, that other stuff.
Is that gonna be your suggestion? Your motion? Or, no, I guess we're not motioning on this.
No, we're not motioning, and I don't know what my suggestion is.
All I need is a consensus,
Let's say.
number and a consensus.
I do the 3.
We're having the hardest time getting people. Is it in the office or is it our road?
Could we say it's equal-ish?
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit harder on the road crew than the office, but not by much. Not by much.
Do we have within our policies right now where when we're hiring, we can utilize the hire into range? And the reason I'm asking that, the state has that ability.
We don't
It's-
have a set range
Ranges.
for staff on highway.
No ability
it's-
to.
Oh, you can offer them whatever you
We can
want.
offer whatever.
That's-
we can
that's
offer-
As long as it's in the budget.
There's no restrictions to that.
That's what I was getting
Right.
at.
Did you hear it? But it's whatever's in the budget.
Right, I did hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that if there's some, bit money in another line item, a vacant position, doesn't mean you couldn't offer more, but
Right.
then you gotta make that up next year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, understood.
But that's where it would help if there was a range like the state.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, that answers my question, thank you.
We're just gonna talk about this as road crew and then staff?
I don't know, what are we doing? I'm
Which started out
tired.
with the town clerk.
Oh, another hour and a half.
Thank you for reminding me. I guess I'm worried about the town clerk position.
Okay,
I'm worried that we are not gonna have one if we don't think about this strategically.
okay.
And so I'm struggling a little bit with that piece. I'm not as worried about the other positions.
So let me have you thinking, approaching it a different way. Back to what you said earlier. Let's determine what the salary for the clerk's gonna be, or the wage increase, and then we can have a separate discussion about the role of the clerk. 'Cause I've had talks with her already. Okay, she knows that there's a 99% chance that she's gonna go to an hourly rate. She's aware of that.
Right, I get that, but I guess my point is, if she doesn't want the job and this goes out to hire, are we gonna be able to hire at that rate that we're currently paying because she was not working?
I don't know, because I don't know the rate we're gonna be paying yet.
Well, the rate we currently have in the budget.
It'll be
How
just
many hours she works now? I know last night it was mentioned 29.
20.
Say 29.
That's,
I think it
That's
might,
what she
A couple evening meetings. throughout
I
the
think it
year.
varies somewhat, but I think that was,
but it's not anywhere near full time.
No, 29 is an approximate.
And again,
And I think,
Salary for 29
and I think it's technically less than that.
Just getting paid $43 an hour for 29 hours a week.
no, well,
That's what it works out to be.
It's about 45.
Wow.
oh yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah.
And all the benefits.
What I get.
Plus you have to your own schedule. You got your own holiday.
But you're the
Especially with Investor Day, all the other town staff.
it was because it was an elected position. Now it's going to a staff position, or, an appointed position by the select board, so she was her own boss essentially, because she was elected.
Okay.
So that's what comes with an elected town clerk. She was doing her job, and she does a great job.
Not taking any of that.
Yeah.
Not taking any of
Yeah,
that.
so as long as she's serving the town the way she has to, then that's,
Let me rephrase this. She is open to a discussion.
Yeah.
Right? She would like the position based on the conversations that I've already had with her, and she's open to discussions.
Yeah, no, I get it.
about all of it. So, personally, I think don't let that hold the board up from determining the wage. That's just my opinion.
oh, for sure.
We shouldn't let us hold us up for moving forward with the budget for that. A separate discussion, there'll always be some risk there. Anytime you're gonna have a discussion with someone like that anyway. So.
Well, again, I'm gonna stick with what you put here. I like your suggestion. What about you?
Well,
I personally, like I said before, like it to be consistent across the board. I think it's just a more fair way to approach it. So whether that be your suggested 4% or my initial suggestion of 3% across the board, but
and you're talking staff and highway?
all that make it fair across the board. And not look at, what may happen or may not happen, or worrying about what could happen in the future. Not that I don't look forward thinking, it's just that I think in terms of us looking at the budget, being good stewards of the town, financially and fiscally responsible, I think we pick a percentage and keep it fair across the board. And I personally think 3% is a good increase, a raise, and that's equitable. But at the same time, I'm not opposed to negotiating a different percentage, but I just think it should be across the board for everyone the same.
Yeah.
So it's fair.
I guess the only thing I would say about the road crew and office staff is a very different working condition.
Oh, I understand that completely. And I'm not negating that or disrespecting anyone when I say it. I just think that it's fair to look consistently across the board when you're looking at a staff increase.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've already heard the numbers for what other road crews make. What is the hourly wage for other town clerks in the state? Is it $43 an hour for part-time?
The average is about, the average is
Well-
39.54.
Well,
And 54, yeah.
but we don't know how many hours they work. This is just the
That's a
pay.
full-time clerk, it's 39.54.
But theoretically, Rachel's a full-time clerk too.
Yeah.
So we don't, if they're elected, do we know that they're working 40 hours?
I used full-time 40-hour numbers for that average out of the VLCT book. Yeah, I'll send you home with the book tonight, you got it.
No, thank you. I have a unique contract.
Making $41 an hour, and you're getting a 3% raise, you're getting a pretty good raise at 3%. Whereas the guy that's only making 28,
Again, the budgeted number, just to be clear, and don't want any
I
confusion.
know what.
The budgeted number is 3121. Sorry, no, it's not. That's what.
30.
It's 30, but based on the hours she's working, right? Because she's on salary, it comes out to be the $40 an hour number. Right? But the budgeted number right now that we're talking about increasing is only $30.30. That helps clear up some of that.
So this figure in here, was not her salary for last year, the 63,000?
That's the proposed salary with a 3% increase.
So this is just.
63? Oh, yeah, that was
That's the proposed salary in the budget, in the blue in the budget.
It's 25 to 26. I understand $30 an hour.
Because it's gonna go to hourly, and that works out to $30 and $30 an hour for a 40-hour work week.
For 40 hours.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But currently.
52 weeks, 2,080 hours.
Right, but currently the position's 29 at first week.
That's what you work. Average working is, it's not what was, yeah. The actual work hours end up being that.
That's a little,
But-
yeah, that was.
Oh, that was my fault.
Okay, so
3 and 6. I hope.
I agree.
If I can vote.
okay, so here's my concern. We did, and it was justified, I'm not saying it wasn't deserved, but we did bump the road crew up, 8% last year.
Just what I came to be, yeah.
We didn't do that for the office. They must know that. So does it show us, does it appear that we don't value them because we're now again giving a different amount to the road crew and then we're giving to the office staff? And for that reason, I would say if we're gonna do 4% for the road crew, we do 4% for the office staff. To at least be an equivalent amount. And I know, and again, not that I don't think that they deserve more. But I feel like I don't know.
Well,
This is tough.
take into consideration working conditions of the road crew.
So I can go and say, like, during that ice storm, we were here for 20 hours straight. We never went home. We were here from Sunday to.
No, I know,
And I'm just like, he was just bringing up like hours of conditions of work, like. So that means we didn't go, and those guys didn't sleep on Sunday, and then it started raining earlier than it was supposed to be, so like,
Yeah.
we went almost 2 days straight with no sleep.
This is being recorded and we don't wanna have any CDL.
We were waiting, it's not exemption,
For emergency situations.
Emergency.
Yeah,
By being a municipality.
it isn't pegged to be here for that time.
But I
So
think,
what are we trying to accomplish here, right? Are we trying to give fair and equitable raises to the town staff? And also at the same time, bring them to an equitable rate across the state in comparison with the VLCT averages, right? Because we're either gonna do one, the other, or we can try to do both. And if we do both, which is my recommendation, right?
Mhm.
To bring everybody to a reasonable rate with their peers across the state. It may mean that some get more than others, and it may take more than 1 year to get them there, right? So instead of trying to do it all in 1 year and whack the budget, we did it last year, we did it a couple of years ago, maybe we need to do it a couple more years and have different rates. And I'm okay, because I'm the one that's gonna be delivering the message on behalf of the board to let people know why we did it that way, right? Because the highway crew has been below average for years,
Mhm.
and we're trying to get them up to snuff. The town averages the staff is closer.
Yeah, I think
So-
they're doing good, this sounds.
Though they're not going to get much more than a cost of living increase, maybe a little bit to bring them up a little bit slower, but is that fair and reasonable to do it that way? I think it is, but again, that's just my recommendation to the board. Because if we keep giving flat rates every year, we're not gonna improve that situation. And at some point, we're gonna be even further out of whack and need a big hit to get back in place. You know, the next time we go to hire a road crew, instead of taking a year, maybe it'll take 6 months. And then the next time, maybe it'll take 3 months. But if we don't change the way we do business, next time it's gonna take 18 months instead of a year,
Can I ask you something?
potentially. That's the risk we run. I just wanna put that on the table. I'm not here to be popular. I'm just here to
No,
deliver the facts.
I know somebody that has a CDL, and he said he wasn't even aware that they were looking for someone. Where are they being advertised?
All over,
Besides on the web.
all over. When was that? The time frame? How long ago?
When did he tell me or ask me? Last week?
When did he say he applied though?
No, he didn't say he applied. He didn't know it was being advertised.
Okay,
Is-
okay.
Okay, anyway, I think we're talking
We usually
salaries.
put it in the paper, we usually put it in the paper, we put it on Front Porch Forum, we put it in the World, we put it on the VLCT site.
It was in the world and all that? Okay.
Sometimes,
Huh.
I'm not saying every time, I can't say for
Many times.
when I didn't do it, but
Once a month.
Quite
Did
a few
you?
of them, yeah, world times.
We're not into the world sometimes,
It's on the league
The only
website.
place I saw it was on the website.
All right, back to the salaries.
Well, that's what he was talking about, the hiring, so that's what I'm talking about.
One point off, a
So-
couple years ago, we did give the town clerk it wasn't me, it was the board, gave the clerk a higher percentage than everybody else. So there is precedent
Yeah.
for not doing straight across the board for everybody.
I'm gonna move off from yours a little bit. I think I would agree with you somewhat, Joe, on the road crew getting 4, but all of them the same 4.
Oh, I didn't say 4. I was a
No,
little
I know.
higher than that.
But I'm changing a little bit. I'll go along with the 4 for all of them, and then stay with the 3 for the office. What, doesn't make sense? No?
No, it's, the town people, they get to go home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Our road crews are out making our roads safe and making it safe for us to get home. Whether it be going to work in the morning or coming home and work at night, and these guys are working 20 hours a day.
Right.
And during the summer, they're out in the heat when it's 90 degrees, 100 degrees, cutting brush, clearing roads. And we went how long without trying to get someone in here to keep our roads up? Way too long, you know, and you need something to entice people to see that, all right, we're gonna make $32 an hour starting out, or whatever the rate might be starting out. You see only $28 an hour, and you can go over to Williamstown and make 31, why would someone wanna come here?
I think the consensus for the back part of the room is 6%.
Yeah.
So my,
3 and 6.
this is what I was gonna say, and I'm just kind of like looking at the superintendent as standalone. Road crew, I'm saying 6%, and I'm gonna say, 4% for Rachel, 3% all the way down through for the rest of the staff.
No,
No?
no. I'm fine with the 6.
Okay.
And I'm not suggesting that we need to do more for Rachel. In the sense that my bigger concern is just and if you, and not to be, but if you look at this, the average, we're close to the average.
Mhm.
Just as close as we are down here. But the range is extreme.
Is it?
So, but we're not far off from the average.
Mhm.
But some of these people have been here for a while.
right,
So that would mean that they are skewed.
exactly, right?
Um,
Right now, he's what, $4 below the average, $4 an hour below the average. After Timmy leaves, he's the next guy, right?
so, well, and I mean, how long has he been here?
Well, which time? Add him up.
Yeah,
Timmy, what's his total years of service for us?
Just about 11.
so I
I
mean,
mean, he was only gone for 4 months.
Right.
so, that should probably theoretically put him above the average, I would think, but,
He got one for back.
no, I know.
Right.
No, I know.
He left for $2 an hour. And we matched it to
Get it back.
have him come back.
No,
If you left, would he fill your shoes? Would he take that position?
no, he's retiring, right?
Well, no,
Yeah.
they.
Oh, Tim, got
Yeah.
it.
Timmy Evans.
Oh, sorry, Timmy Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna retire.
So TJ wouldn't replace him, like he's 20 years in service, but he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want my.
Yeah.
Something to be said for coming and going without having to deal with
Okay, you
it.
don't want it.
Not for it, so.
Yeah.
And with it. God bless you.
Okay, so my point about, and Rachel, if you're watching, I apologize. My point about Rachel isn't that she doesn't deserve it, but that's a negotiation about the hourly wage, not necessarily about the increase. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
So we can, because we can choose to allow whatever we choose to allow for the number of hours she works and what we pay her per hour. So I know morale can suffer in these circumstances. And I think there's been some morale issues around here in the office. And I just worry about that, but this probably isn't the place to solve that. So I'm fine if you want to do 3% across the board, 6% for road crew, and I'm fine with Tim's raise, frankly. But that's just my opinion.
And on that note,
she's out of here.
Yeah, never mind.
Make a track run.
So your thought is, 6% for the road crew, the 14% for the superintendent, and 3% for office staff.
No, I mean, that's what's being proposed, and I can get behind that.
But currently, it's only those 3 staff members going to 6% instead of 4 is the only change.
Right. But I do want to make the point that we are in the middle of a union contract negotiation, and it's gonna cost us some money.
Yeah. Well, and just in case Timmy's listening, I'm just gonna say that that's probably, that's fair, but that's a huge jump. Maybe we could do that in 2 years. I don't know. Split that down the middle.
You talking about Tim?
10. Instead of 14, find something maybe a little less and we can make it up in next year. That's just a thought.
I mean, that's gonna depend on the board.
Yeah.
I'm only one person.
You've already said your piece.
I'm not opposed to across the board if we go with a higher percentage. I'm not in favor of a 14%. Not that I don't believe Tim does a great job. All of the staff that work for him, and they work so good as a team, etc., and they're doing a tremendous job. And I've heard wonderful things about the ice storm and how they were out there and just continuous. We appreciate that. But I just think that if we do more for some and not for others, and then a 14% for the superintendent, I don't feel comfortable with it.
Well, and
I'm not opposed to going with a higher percentage across the board. I wouldn't propose a 6% across the board.
you're talking about office staff and crew.
Right. If we go across the board, I started out saying I'd like to see a 3% across the board, and that wasn't what everyone else is inclined to. So I'm just saying
Well, that's
that,
not true. I wanted the 3.
but I am willing to negotiate so that we can come up with something that we're all comfortable with. I just think that the 14% is exorbitant, and maybe perhaps your suggestion of not doing it all this year. But like we talked about earlier, we did an 8% last year, and now to be suggesting a 14%, that's 22% over 2 years, if we were to do that. I just think it would be much better to do across the board and not pick and choose who we're gonna give more to, although I understand what Frank and Jill were saying in terms of, the appreciation to the hard work that some may do than others. And the longer hours, et cetera. And some jobs are more stressful than others as well.
Right. I'm staying where I was, the 3, and then I don't mind doing a 4 at the top, but.
And Carla brought up sorry to interrupt, Carla brought up a good point about it's gonna be expensive, you know, when we look at all of the costs, the adjustments.
That's what I've been saying. The taxpayers aren't getting.
So that's part of where I'm coming from as well, just being fiscally responsible to the extent we can be.
That's what I've been saying, right?
Trying to steal me.
I think, and
Well, not really.
No, I think we're just putting all of our views out there.
Well,
No one's right, no one's wrong, but if we don't express our views, how do we come up with an end result?
so let me just say, the reason why I can get behind a large increase for Tim is because he is currently at the bottom of the range of pay across the state. And if he decided tomorrow that he's gonna leave, because he gets a better offer, I don't think that's gonna be good for us. And I think it's, and I know that can happen, but, we know the circumstances of his pay and what is comparable, and I feel like we should, as we started doing last year, I feel like we should address it. He wasn't making that much more than the staff.
No.
Prior to, the adjustments we recently did, so.
And that, you know, it's not to say with our 2020 hindsight that we may not have done enough this year. Well, you know, last year maybe should have done more at that point, you know, than the 8%.
and that was 8% across the board for the road crew.
I believe so. It might be 8.5. 8 changes. I don't remember exactly, but.
Well, I like looking at the road crew in 2 different parts. In your road crew foreman has one as a standalone, and your rest of the crew with a 6%.
So, can I make a suggestion,
Sure.
since we're not gonna come to an agreement right now? That Vince run some numbers and tell us what those are gonna be, and we get to what's the tax rate gonna be, and we figure out what we can afford. Because we're clearly not gonna come to an agreement on this right now, because I think.
I have a request.
Okay.
Can the board at least agree on the staff? Separate the highway crew. I'll run some numbers for the highway crew, whatever we need to do. We need to close down some numbers. We're gonna have one more meeting. We've got to have numbers ready next week.
Might be having more than one.
Well, exactly. And I'm okay with that.
3% across the board on staff.
Exactly. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I need to finalize.
And as I'll shoot a
presentation.
presentation, and we are a little over an hour.
But are
on
you
the
okay with
clock.
it?
I am, but I want to make sure that others are as well. Not
Where I've
just
done the whole time.
what I had recommended. But I think that will really help Vince to be able to plug in the numbers, look at the whole.
It's not me, it's us.
No, I know that. I know that.
Right.
And just being respectful to you and what you've done and attempted to do
So
as well.
what exactly do you want me to prepare for you? And I will get it out to you hopefully tomorrow afternoon and have it ready for the next meeting as well.
So would that be
What
the
numbers do you want to see?
the summertime wages, the wintertime wages?
I think we just want, I
That's
think that what we see is, if we give a 4% raise, how much does that cost?
You just want to see percentages off the base rate?
Yeah,
Oh.
and then,
Oh, okay.
and then,
We'll run 3, 4, 5. Tell me when to stop. 6, 7, 8, 9. Tell me when to stop. How many rates do you want to see?
I think you can stop at 6.
6?
That's as far as we've talked about.
Okay.
I mean, Tim's easy to figure out, we don't need to run, And, but include half of this and Tim's and see what that
The
adds.
7% there,
Yeah,
okay? Well, you'll have this tomorrow morning.
and then, but the key, and I kind of alluded to this last night, but I know you probably couldn't do that for tonight, but is to be able to say, this is the total, this is what that means the tax rate's gonna be, kind of like Tori did last time, this is what the tax rate's gonna be, and then we can always buy that down, but what is that gonna mean compared to last year?
We got a lot more numbers to decide.
I realize
We can
that,
calculate a tax
I
rate.
realize that, but
Okay.
but
I need
we can
those
see
numbers.
what kind of an impact that's gonna have on the overall, what those increases are gonna have.
Mhm.
And they're probably not gonna be that significant.
Oh, you wanna just see the impact on the tax rate for the percentage increases?
Yeah,
That's gonna be pretty small.
no, I recognize that, so,
Okay.
so we have to do the capital budget is the other thing, right?
And fire and police,
But I thought you said we weren't doing that tonight.
not
Not tonight.
No,
capital was supposed to be tonight, but
well, I just wanna go back to the 400,000 for the multi-use path, if we're done with
The
this.
CIP.
Yeah.
Sure.
I talked to Tom, and the reason that, so that money came to us prior to the current administration. There was no time limit. The current administration imposed a time limit, and that's why we're in the position that we're in right now.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Guys.
bye. So it wasn't that we, we're sort of, remiss in doing things, it's that the circumstances changed.
Okay.
I did ask him to find out if there was in-kind, if you could count the work that the state's doing as match. He hasn't gotten an answer yet.
there was a meeting today with the state. That question was asked. The individual that was asked wasn't sure. He's gonna follow up, but
Yeah.
he believed that there would not be.
He said that, but he's,
Okay.
but
Okay.
So I just I did, hope for a little bit more history on the project, but, no one was able to come, so, and I just didn't have time today to get into it, but I think the sort of the, perception that it's some kind of negligent behavior on behalf of the, not acting when we should have is not accurate, so I don't think that,
I don't think we discussed that.
yeah, we did.
Okay.
So anyway. That's pretty much all I have on that.
Okay. So are we gonna discuss just that, or you wanna discuss some of this, the CIP?
Yeah, no, I mean, what,
I guess I have a few questions. And how is the CIP funded? Are we talking about just local options tax funding these?
oh, I do have another question.
Oh, wait a minute, I asked mine first.
Well, we have to figure that out.
Okay,
That's the whole point, is we can only we look at the capital improvement plan, what's on the agenda, and then we say, well, how are we gonna pay for that? How can we pay for that? And then if we can, we put it in the budget. If we can't, we move it.
okay.
That's the way I see it.
And so that means we should only be funding with the local options tax. Is that right?
Well, not
I
necessarily.
agree to that. I mean, actually, we pay for the stuff out of the general fund.
Okay,
That option to me is still available. It's more of a
Just
balance,
balancing.
how much,
how much we take out of the general?
correct.
How much
Okay.
you know, yeah, for in the current environment of tax.
And so if I'm looking at the headers and we have for reserve and deduction from reserve, that means, in my mind, that we're gonna be saving something for a later project. Is this correct?
That's what the first column appears to be.
Correct.
The first column.
The first column. And so the first column, we are saving somewhere around $120,000 for a future project or purchase. And we're spending over $500,000. Wait a minute. That's deducted from reserves, okay?
I think that's misleading. That's money you have to come up with.
But in the end, when I'm looking at fiscal year 28, we're not reserving anything. We're just spending.
You just didn't put it in. So
It's not in the CIP. That is right out of the CIP with the exception of the changes that I made last night. Based on
Why
what I was asked to do.
I
So
thought that was ongoing.
that's.
So anything in the red.
CIP. Yeah.
Well, but we're supposed to be managing that. Why would we not put it in consistently?
Because it's the first year, we developed the plan, and now we're having growing pains, learning and working within the plan. Again, my recommendation is, over the course of the next 3 years with the CIP, we have to do regular updates and revisions to balance it out, because it's not balanced out yet. And this is a great example of that, right? The first year we've got, the first year, right? We're drawing money out of reserves that technically we didn't plan to put in there, right? And we have we have around $2 million in there. The second year, we have less than $1 million in there, and we're not accounting to put anything into reserves. So we have a lot of work to do, in my mind, to really use this CIP, what it was intended for, which is planning and saving and spending to stabilize our tax base on capital projects. Right.
And try, and we've done so far, but eliminate or reduce the need to borrow
money
in the off years. I mean, so that a new truck, $800,000, since it's such a shock to the system that 1 year,
doesn't hit the
spread it out over several years.
So I'm not surprised by some of that, because it's brand new, right? There's gonna be bumps in the road whenever you introduce something like that. You just have to work through it. Right?
Right.
So
That was the point of you doing this, so we could see it.
that's why I added, after the first go around, why I added the 28, so you could see that.
Right.
And again, as we go forward, I'll add another year as we get closer. But
Can we have, okay, I would like to have a meeting with Ron, whether others want to participate or not. And I can come up during the day or whatever to go over this process, if after we're done with the budget, if that's okay. Can we do that? You and me and him, and whoever else wants to participate?
We can.
Thank you. Okay, sorry, are you done with your questions?
Yeah, I guess so.
We talk about Paint Turnpike. What was the process to get the number that we got? For the original number?
The initial number was based on site evaluations from V-Trans and the Federal Highway Administration. It was basically just an estimate from engineers
And we had,
looking at it.
and we had to request the money from FEMA,
It was
like how?
It was based on that, and I have the documentation, I found it today. So that exercise said that the design and install, right, was $1,275,000. That's from the damage inspection report from the state that I was referring to, right? So based on that, there was a grant of $1,147,000, $47,500 to be exact, in the grant to cover the $1,275,000.
Because we had to match 10%.
Correct, right? Since that time, right, there's been a delay. The new estimates came in. There were 3 culverts provided in the estimate to choose from. I selected the lowest value, which was $2,270,000 for the culvert and the installation, which is clearly like 1 point something higher than the
And did you talk about that with the state today?
4,750. Nope, I didn't, I don't have a contact yet at the state to talk to on
Oh,
this.
did we talk to the people that were not at the state?
Yeah,
You still around or?
Don Lemieux,
Yeah.
right?
Either way, like, if that doesn't work, I have another guy that I can reach out to
All right,
get us pointed.
I guess what I would
That'll
like
be
to
on the
know
agenda for me
is if
tomorrow,
the
then.
state is going to
do anything?
pay for the cost of fixing their culvert. And in the meantime, my recommendation is if we think we have to pay for it, and you guys are probably not gonna like this idea, I say we put it on the bond, we put it on the vote, put it to vote, we don't have to use it. We put it out to vote. And that relieves some pressure from the budget in the event we need it. I know it's future, it's putting it off, but we don't know, we are not gonna know the answer to whether the state's gonna be able to, is gonna help. We are not gonna know all that information, so it just gives us a backup plan. If we find we can't fund it.
I see your
I
point.
think that's reasonable as a worst case scenario.
Yeah. We don't have to use it.
I'll see what I can do some research. Since it's, disaster funding, we may have more flexibility in not needing to go to a bond vote. If there are regular borrowing, I will look into that, but I think it's a worst case scenario
As a backup.
at this point. Good to draft a language at least.
Yeah.
All right, I can prepare some language for that.
And part of the reason I'm proposing that, and I know I'm probably in the minority, but if we do that, I feel like between the possibility that we have other money to pay, and maybe we're not gonna use that other money to pay for the garage design, maybe we're gonna apply it to the bond, however we do it, but I would like to propose that we add that $1 million, including the $400,000 into the budget and figure out what that's gonna do, how that's gonna, because it's about $1 million now with the that we would be committing to. $400,000 of which is the garage design. So. And then have the. And again, there's still room to change our mind, to do it differently, but it provides the opportunity, if the rate works out, if we can get it to a point where, that basically is the local options tax. That $1 million. To cover the capital improvement projects that we're going to do. That we have planned for the year in the budget. So that's where I am at with this budget.
So by doing that, like, we would move forward completely with the CIP that is projected for this year.
Well, you weren't here last night.
I think you heard about it.
Oh, okay.
Well,
There were.
yeah, I heard some things, and like, I agree, like, some things just can't happen, but like, I brought to Vince's attention today that the truck was one of them. That truck is due for replacement next year. Chassis haven't become a problem.
Oh, you have to order
They're
it.
within 6 to 8 months of delivery now. The bodies and plow equipment are 2 years behind, and after we get past July of this year, there's a $30,000 to $35,000 increase because they have to enter into the last tier of the emissions. So just the emissions is gonna go up $30,000 to $35,000.
Is this for the big expensive truck?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one we have to
It's gonna, yeah, and then, so we have the increase. Average increase of every year Gonna set the,
Yeah.
set the build back by another year. So that truck's, you're gonna take a truck that's due for replacement and put 3 more years on it. It's out of warranty, so if the transmission goes, motor goes. There's $50,000 to $60,000 for a motor or any other, your maintenance cost is gonna now come up, so we're gonna end up being short on our maintenance. Cause we're already running into problems with like the trucks that are on, that truck I gotta put a transmission cooler in it.
When do we have to pay for the truck? If you.
The chassis has to be paid for on delivery, or you get a 5% quarterly increase if the dealership holds on to it. So we would take possession. So technically, like I was gonna propose was, we could fund the chassis this year, and next year you can fund the body, because if.
That's what's 2 years out, the body's 2 years out?
Body and the plow equipment is a long, it was the opposite. 3 years ago, when we were coming out of COVID, it was the complete opposite. You couldn't get a chassis for nothing, but everybody had the equipment to build. And then it went to flip because the market got flooded. And all these trucks came on, and then all the body equipment got used up, and now they can't get the body equipment, and they don't have the staffing.
Right.
With the equipment. Because there's such a high demand in that. The town of Northfield just ran into it. They ordered a truck last year. They're not gonna get them until 2028. So they went from 26.
Who's got one for sale? Brand new one. They bought a brand new one and sold it the next year.
Why?
I don't know, it's on the online auction.
Who?
Worcester bought one and then they
All that,
sold it a year later.
little pickup truck.
It's a dump truck.
Yeah, it's a pickup. It's a 1.5 ton truck. It's not a dump truck. It's a pickup. It's a little average size.
The one we saw online was a dump truck.
It's a 6,500 Chevy.
Oh.
Medium.
Anyways, they didn't keep it.
I mean, I was.
A lot of towns tried those Chevy chassis and have since scrapped them.
Yeah, they're junk.
Light duty plow equipment.
They have 13 miles of road.
Yeah, so what's the chassis cost?
Ballpark, 180.
We're going in the wrong direction, Tim. But that, I mean, I get your point.
Just wanted to bring that up, like, I understand like the rest of it, like,
I'll put something,
but
So,
Notes in the
so
plan.
we can't wait, like, we can't order the rest of it and then wait and get the chassis next year when we get the. Like, can we order, if we don't have to pay for the other stuff up front, can we just order that and then get the truck in the same
you
year?
need the chassis to be in line at the body company.
We do?
Yeah, they won't put you, like, if we just say, well, we're gonna buy a truck next year, can I get in line with the body company? They won't, they have the demand is there, like, they want to be able to call me on a Monday and say, you got your chassis? Yeah, we'll have it here this afternoon, we'll start working on it tomorrow. You see what I mean?
I do, but if you know it's not gonna be for a year.
It also depends on what company we go on.
Okay.
If we go to New Hampshire to the company that we bought the last 2 trucks from, they're 12 to 14 months right now is what they're saying. The company that we bought one of our other trucks that's out of Williston, or just outside of Williston, they're 24 to 28 months.
But the increase is on the chassis, the 30 extra $1,000.
$35,000.
And that's if we don't buy it by July 1st. Or order it by.
Yeah, we order it after town meeting, it falls under the current emissions that are on the vehicles now, as soon as they.
We can take delivery later.
Yeah, it'll take 6 months to make that. I mean, depending on where it is in line, depending on what it is for a chassis, it only takes them It only takes us about 2 days to build that.
But, yeah,
It goes on this. But it's depending on where it falls in their order. Is when it is built. I mean, they're-
But I mean, theoretically, we could wait for it until June so that we know we're not gonna have to pay for it until next fiscal year. Cause we wouldn't take.
Unless they get it delivered to us in January.
Well, but we aren't gonna have the rest of it anyway, right?
No, but we have to like, if we ordered a truck in after town meeting.
Right, but I'm just saying, it might be done before the fiscal year begins, where we've allocated the money. I guess that, does that matter?
Well, we ordered, I mean, you ordered the truck after town meeting and you got 6 to 8 months, maybe less, like, I mean, so like we ordered the truck in May. They might deliver it to us in September. Or December. But we would, if we don't want the 5% increase for the dealer fee to hold on to it. You would have to pay for it. You would pay for that chassis and then the chassis would just sit in here, but then.
Yeah, no, yeah, okay, well, anyway, alright, so. What's Vince doing?
it's got people on there, I think.
It's just backed up and ready to go.
I'm just making sure we still have people
Well,
around.
no, you got your little pile all piled up, ready to go.
Taking notes.
Alright, so what are we doing?
Listening to you.
It's dangerous.
Well, I guess my only question here is where do we start saving or putting in reserves for later projects if we do any? And are we over?
We're putting $120,000 away this year.
This year. We're doing this year.
We have to worry about the rest of the capital improvement plan
Right.
after. We just gotta deal with this year right now.
Let's do this year. Who wants to get this year done?
So currently, our capital improvement plan for fiscal year 27 is standing as edited from last night, which still has the sidewalk in it.
Yeah, I thought that came out.
I'm proposing that it doesn't come out. And that we are currently at about $1 million in capital improvement projects. If we add the 180 back in, we're over $1 million again. And that as long as we have the option, again,
We're over
this,
$1 million.
this creates, I had it down to just over $1 million. I'm not sure why it's 1.287.
And these guys up across the board here.
Yeah,
That 400,000 is what we have to pay on that one.
I'm talking about last night when I added all these numbers up, that was just over $1 million.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I came 12. 1.2.
8, 7.
Well, in any case,
Refresh my memory, what is the crosstown upgrade for 134,000?
Mill and paving.
This section right up here?
Yep, from here to the top of the hill.
no, the 134 you said was from top of the
I said
hill?
I had to finalize the research on it in the capital plan. It's for milling and paving from there to the top of the hill.
So why is
Right
it?
back to that.
I got crossed out.
No, not that one.
So we had double in.
What was that?
The 134 is for milling and paving,
Got it.
this section of the,
From Scott Hill
to the top of the.
up there.
So what was the 245 for crosstown road milling and paving?
That was all paving projects, is this correct?
That was,
So that was a total, that was from the highway crew for all gravel and pavement and
that was
milling.
So I've already reviewed it with Tim, that you don't need to do that, I already reviewed it today.
Well, he looked
I've made-
confused.
Made the corrections, it's what we talked about this morning, right? And
Yeah.
So you're saying this number is this total?
There, again, as I said last night, right, there was confusion around this. It's been verified, it's gone away, it's over here. Where it was to begin with, the milling and paving is right there, and those other paving projects are right there. Fiscal year 27 now, so that has all been cleaned up and the confusion's gone.
Well, no, now there's more confusion because
No, you're the only one here confused on those numbers.
this, okay, Vince,
The only one.
crosstown upgrade, crosstown milling and repaving.
Yeah, I'll fix the verbiage on that, don't worry about next year, you said that yourself just a minute ago. Don't worry about the wording there, right? That's where it was originally, that's where it is now.
But you're telling me
This-
that's what this is.
That is what that is. Here, let me fix it for you. There. No more confusion.
Okay, good.
How's that?
I would recommend pushing Crosstown Road off a year. Now keep in mind that the 5-year paving plan was based on a physical analysis of all the roads, and a score was assigned to each road segment. For the proposal, Crosstown Road is the lowest rated score for that area, so it comes in at 62, which the other roads were, I think, in the upper 70s, so it's in quite a bit better condition than the other roads we're looking, to pave next year. On top of that, in the next year, we're looking at, or, the plan is to pave Payne Turnpike from 62 to Crosstown Road, and from Shed Road, and from Scotch Hill Road. When they put this plan together, they tried to group roads together and that were in a close geographical area, so hopefully it saves some money on mobilization and demobilization. So I think it would fit in well with those other projects as well. So that'd be my recommendation.
How does that play into that other stuff that Keith reached out to us about, the traffic calming
Yeah,
That'd be another thing.
out here?
yeah.
Cause we're eligible for, the grant.
Not yet. I'm waiting on feedback from,
We're working on it for the traffic calming out here.
It goes straight away here,
yeah.
But it was kinda gonna all play in with paving
paving.
and what other options with the, central regional.
Planning Commission,
And
yeah.
whatever.
They're supposed to be doing a study, of course, at some point, but I haven't, I gotta reach out to them again as well and light a fire.
But yeah,
But I mean, that does make sense.
Traffic calming.
People go fast through here because it's just kind of a straightaway from the corner, to the underpass.
Mhm.
And there's a narrow bridge there that people walk on. Can be dangerous. The residents that live around here have complained about it to us several times that that's a dangerous situation when they're on that bridge and cars are coming from both directions.
So we're gonna put a 3-way stop there, aren't we?
That's what fall under the increase on the police. That's where. So maybe enforce that.
Sit out there. Well, it's interesting because I hadn't really thought about it, but when Jeff, who lives on the end of the road here, came and was talking to us about it, he made the point about what's that bridge called over there? The bridge that's on Payne Turnpike that they put up, Country Bridge, because visually it's narrow.
firsthand say it doesn't do that because I watch people do it straight. They don't even swerve, they just drive opposite lanes straight through the bridge.
Well, I slow down when I come to it because I know it narrows, and so visually, I think for most people, they kind of slow down.
You're a courteous driver.
Well, maybe I'm just getting old, I don't know. But anyway, so the thought being that there's ways to make this a little bit more so that people would, be inclined to slow down.
You're talking right from the turn, right out here to.
From the end of the road.
It's not speeding tickets.
So I marked out the right ones to
Their
close,
recommendation.
right? And so this is the standalone cross down, okay.
That's it?
I just want the other paving touches, those are the other paving touches. Yeah.
Speeding tickets, like you said. Fine.
These numbers are down to
That's usually gets
the
people.
same numbers they were when Yeah. we started the conversation, all this has changed.
The coffer.
My understanding,
But the
but that right there, I mean,
first try was said that.
is it truly gonna be an issue if we don't?
Like,
do
they're
this?
gonna do the study and then they're gonna come up with.
There won't be an issue with that,
But
it's in the plan to be done, right? And it will impact the plan down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The next 3 years, we have to look at this
We
closely.
get the center lane, center line on everything.
Overly complicated in my mind, but.
Yeah.
It isn't.
That was their first
We have to
try,
buckle down.
and then
So,
Can we get it?
yeah, we're gonna go back to the CIP.
Okay, it's 8:37. What are we doing?
Ordering pizza. Anyway, I do think. Feel like we're just kind of missing the opportunity to maybe saving for our projects down the road. But I would be all in favor of taking that $34,000 paving project on Crosstown and pushing that off. Now, I realize we keep pushing things off, but that gets us really close to what our local options tax is.
Yeah.
That's leaving the sidewalk to nowhere.
And here's my point. If we at least keeps our options open to be able to do the project. It's not committing to doing the project, it's committing to setting aside money to allow us to do the project. And I know that, you know, you talk about there's might be other priorities, but think about this. Think about if the planning commission had never gotten that new town center designation, the mall goes vacant. It's an empty lot, there's no taxes coming in because that was a dying mall. And we worked with that mall to get this designation to encourage them to build up their outlots and to stay in town. And so there's always the flip side of that has brought in a lot of taxes. It's continuing, it'll continue to, now there's gonna be the Starbucks and the Chipotle for more local options tax. And I think that we have to recognize that that kind of growth isn't happening everywhere because particularly in those old type malls, a lot of them are dying. And we were fortunate enough to be working with a developer or an owner that was willing to go down that road, so.
So leaves our options.
Yes.
And
Thank
so taking Crosstown upgrade, and I'm gonna say pushing it off to be in reserve, but that's gonna be a select board discussion and I won't be part of next year.
Thanks, Joe.
But that gets us really close to what our local options tax is. That's taking what we told the town that this would be, tax relief. It's tax relief in the form of purchase of equipment and projects that they don't have to pay
Well,
for.
we said we'll go to capital improvements.
Right, and so that's what it did. And that gets us.
So my recommendation is we look at what that looks like in the big picture and then decide if we need to go further. That's my recommendation.
And we have a meeting, you and I have a meeting tomorrow, but. Gonna be finished on 26th.
It's Monday. I'll second your recommendation, Joe.
I'll third it.
And I'm fine with pushing Crosstown out, so we could, move forward with that aspect.
What's
I mean, the
one five?
the big unknown here is the cost of the contract.
That's like what we're getting. Right? 1152. It's a little savings. It's just 2028, you gotta have some savings as well. Something in reserves. I should
Well, and the
say.
other thing I just wanna point out is that we left 300 and 180 in the budget, in the highway budget for paving and gravel, whatever. So it's actually in the,
Mix the two.
it's actually in the budget already. Do you know what I'm saying? It's that $500,000. No,
No.
we took it
No.
out because it is in the budget. No,
What you've deducted from the capital improvement plan is gonna come out of that budget.
Right.
wait.
No,
Sorry.
they're one and the same. Again, don't confuse the budget and the capital
This
improvement plan.
200, and that's where I got down to 1 million. This 266,000 is already in the budget.
Joe,
It's
are
not
we done?
256 anymore.
They can
Took
see
another
it.
100.
Okay, well, there's been, the budget has an extra,
No. That,
but Vince,
on your sheet, I have to revise the sheet after we revise the CIP. That number will come out. That's double dipping. We're not double dipping. Let me put it that way.
no, you take it, well, this is just what we're gonna do, then it's in the budget, right here. Oh, you did change, no, right here, 300, 160.
Yep, and it's gonna change. Based on what we just decided over there.
I thought we were gonna just
No,
leave
I didn't
that.
change it because we weren't done with the discussion. This number's going to change.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna put. If I put 300 here and I put 300 there, that's like putting 600,000 in the budget. It's one and the same numbers, I'm telling you. That's just where it's coming from. It's planned and where it's coming from. And it goes into this line item on the budget. This is something we talked about in the beginning. We have to decide going forward for next year's budget, do we put it here or just there? It wasn't decided clear this year. So that's why it's in both places. It's the first year. So if it comes out of there, it comes out of this line item.
I understand what you're saying, but I also understand that when I asked you where these numbers came from,
Yes,
it didn't come from here.
yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Who's the chair here?
We're gonna continue that.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Exactly.
I proposed one cut to the budget, a huge cut.
No, yes.
Meeting with economic development today. It's in here for 3,500. They're only requesting 1,500, so they are fine with cutting 2,000
Thank you, Tor.
on that.
I think that's your.
Thank you.
Don't laugh, that could help.
All right, I'd be,
Great.
I move to adjourn.
move to second, all in favor? Thank you very much.